Welcome to United States of Formula One. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Cookie.
And we're here to talk about Singapore. We're going to get right into qualifying. Nothing really happened too crazy in qualifying. Oh, you know what? You are correct.
I think one slight thing happened.
Just a little bit.
In qualifying, third round of qualifying.
Q3, Sainz doing his flying lap, about to start his timed lap, loses control. He just into the wall.
He just backed into a parking spot that maybe he shouldn't have been in. Actually, in the I listened to the tape back, and there was a guy in the crowd that screamed, "You can't park there!" I thought that was hilarious.
So going into the wall, I was like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad. He could probably keep driving away from that." But you just don't know how hard they're hitting.
Yeah, he smashed
in that back end. No, and they picked it up with the tow truck tires just dangling. I'm like, will they have enough time to fix that car for the race tomorrow?
And explain something to me. So they pause. There's 10 minutes of qualifying in the third round.
Yep.
And obviously I'm a newbie. Everybody knows that. So there's about 8 minutes left. They tow him off the track.
Yep, they're gonna red flag. Basically, that means no cars on the track. Everybody's gonna go to pit lane.
Okay. And I understand all that. So they tow him. Everything's clear. Now it's cleared. And then they start the timer.
Okay.
And none of the cars come out. And it goes about 4 minutes are wasted. And it wasn't until about 4 minutes left. And I'm thinking, don't these guys want a chance to maybe get 2 laps around the track to get their best time? So I was confused by that.
So you have a certain amount of tires, and I don't know which teams had one more set of tires, which ones had more than one set of tires.
Okay.
But with that amount of time left, you get released from the pits. You have to go all the way around the track, try to warm that fresh set of tires up. Okay. Now when you cross the start finish again, that's when your time starts. So if they go around the track, warm their tires up, go do another lap, and then they'd have to go back into the pits, try to get another fresh set of tires if they have them. So they were all under the assumption, which they all did, they had one flying lap and one chance to get their time.
Okay, so they just knew there's no reason to go out with 8 minutes left. Let's just wait until we know we can get one lap.
No, and you want to be the later crew to go out because you want your other people to go out and kind of heat the track, put rubber down on the track.
Warm it up.
And somebody's got to make the first move, which I couldn't tell you who, but I know that the next thing that happened, Leclerc.
Yes.
His time didn't count. Time got deleted.
So Sainz, we knew.
Sainz automatically gets to 10th because he got into Q3, which puts Leclerc getting his time deleted right above him.
And I think that this whole wait and delay helped my boy Hulkenberg because since I've been watching, this is the best start he's had at 6th.
Yeah.
I was pumped. I bet on him to stay in 6th. We'll get into that later, but that did not work out, which is probably not a huge surprise for the Hulkster, but you can look at the rest of the grid.
Well, Alonso was a surprise. Yuki Tsunoda qualified fantastic.
We kind of talked about that last race, though, because he had 2 DNFs in a row. We thought he would come back.
Yes, he did not finish in the points, unfortunately.
No.
But your boy Hulkenberg did, so I mean, you got to be proud.
Right. So who's on the pole?
My main man Norris is on the pole. So on the pole, starts the race. Actually, he's been on the pole, I believe, 6 times.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that he goes from pole and finishes the race staying on top. So we made a couple horrible predictions, I would say, last week. We didn't think Verstappen was going to even finish in the top 3.
We thought he'd be that 5-6 again. So, yeah, he qualified second, stayed second. I think overall, the race, it seemed like where most of the guys qualified is where they stayed. And I, as a newbie, watching that track in Singapore, I've heard that it's difficult. Yeah. Typically, there's a lot of wrecks. There's a lot of safety cars.
There's at least a safety car, and that brings everybody back together. This being a crazy race. No virtual safety cars, no safety cars. I think everybody was hoping for a safety car, never got one. And Norris ran away.
He did. He won by 20 seconds. And
33 seconds.
Well, I think there was a point, I think the end time he was up by like 21. And then Verstappen was another.
You are correct because Did you see him almost crash into
Yeah,
the wall?
twice.
So hits the brakes, almost crashes into the wall, is so far ahead. Actually, he got out of the race car, checked his front wing, got back in, and still was 15 seconds ahead. I'm just kidding. He didn't do that. But he had enough
time to get out and take a look at it. But yeah, he brushed two different walls, and he said later after the race that he was pushing it probably a little bit too hard.
Yes.
But it's just like any other sport. A lot of times you get that far ahead, you put your foot on the brake a little bit. Why not push it? Get for the fastest lap, which we'll get into that later, that he did not get the fastest lap for that extra point.
Nope.
And there was a little drama there and some excitement. But I think being the first time I've seen Singapore, I thought the track was a little bit boring. I know they added a third DRS zone. I don't think there was a lot of opportunities to pass, and I think the only one that really capitalized on passing was Piastri.
Yeah.
I watched his recap. He passed both Mercedes, two different times here in the DRS zone. So I think he had a great race going from fifth to third. But other than that, it was just kind of guys staying where they qualified.
Well, talking about Mercedes, you got Hamilton. They put him on soft tires to start the race. And that was the absolute worst move. They were expecting him, I'm going to put you on softs, get in front of a few drivers. I don't think he got in front of anyone.
No.
And in the 12th, 13th lap of the race, they had to pit him. And at that point, race done.
He was complaining. He's like, why did I pit so early? Why'd you put me on those softs? He knew he was done, and he was frustrated the rest of the time. I get it. I completely understand it. But I got to give my props to you, your boyfriend. Lando.
Two McLarens, on the pole. Verstappen on the podium.
Yep.
Verstappen, great work for him. He needed that.
He
absolutely needed that.
But it's huge for McLaren.
Huge for McLaren. We're going to get into a sad segment next, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to USF1. As we alluded to in the last segment, we have a little bit of potentially sad news to get into.
Yeah, I think before we get into the sad news about potentially Daniel Ricciardo, let's talk about him in the race in Singapore.
Okay.
He's great friends with Max Verstappen, and
they were racing partners for a while.
They were racing partners for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Ricciardo comes out, steals a point from Norris.
On the last lap.
On the last lap to get the fastest. Now, Ricciardo doesn't get that point at all because you have to be in the top 10 to receive that point.
So for someone like me that doesn't understand quite, so he's not in the top 10. If you're in the top 10 and you get the fastest lap of the day, you get an extra point.
You get a bonus.
Whether you're in first, 10th. He was 18th, 17th?
Yeah.
So to get the fastest lap is pointless.
Yeah.
But what he does is Lando's in first. He currently has the fastest lap. He gets the fastest lap on his final lap, potentially his final of his career, which could almost be a swan song and kind of a send-off to his buddy Max and says, hey, you don't get the point, but I stole it from Lando. That 1 point might matter later.
That could be the difference maker at the end of the year. We don't know that yet, but it could be. If that is, Max and Ricciardo, great friends. So, but I want to say, potentially being Ricciardo's last race, sad. Super sad.
Hold on a second.
Well,
let me get that there.
Did you? You know who I was more? You don't know him? Our third man of the group.
He's
our
back
executive
there.
Producer. Our man behind the camera.
He's the one that makes it all happen. He's the reason
right
we're doing this show. Jassen.
Jason and Ricciardo is I would say his favorite racer.
And he said it was his favorite because he endeared him that, during the Drive to Survive on Netflix, super likable, down to earth guy, the guy you'd want to go have a beer with, which we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yep.
And just brought new fans into racing because he's just so down. You have people like Verstappen that are such Tiger Woods-esque people that are win at all costs, and guys like this that are just calm, casual, normal dudes that you can relate to.
One of the best smiles in all of F1. One of the best smiles.
Look at that stash too. Solid stash.
If this is potentially his last race, the whole world of F1 is gonna miss that guy. I know that his wrap-up interview drew a tear to my eye.
He was welling up.
He was almost crying, which when I see people cry, it makes me want to cry. Which
I've never
it's
seen.
just it
This
happens.
guy is a huge crier, by the way.
Yeah, I see tears and tears start rolling. So and then that got me. And then the announcer could barely talk afterwards. He's like, oh, this is hard. And then he's turning away from the camera doing this. And I'm just like, well, I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, this is so sad. It's sad for the sport. Hopefully, I don't think I think this is going to be it.
If it is.
I hope that it's not. But he did amazing things in his career.
I mean, 35 years old.
Yep.
257 races.
Yep.
8 wins. 32 podium finishes, over 14,000 laps in F1. So he's done a lot. It's not like he's a young pup. He's had a good career.
2011 to 2024 now, though. He's been there that long. He is the face. He's the face of F1.
The other side of that is he hasn't won a race since 2021.
Yeah.
So when you're declining, you're not, you're with RB2, basically, the junior varsity squad. So I think if this is on his terms, I'm okay with it. Seems like he's not quite ready, but I don't think it's terrible, but it is sad that it doesn't seem like he's quite ready to go.
No, and I think the whole F1 world kind of knows, kind of thinks, kind of believes that this is it for him.
It was a huge send-off. They were all applauding as he was leaving. I think everyone kind of knows. When he was going through the airport on the way out, he's getting standing ovation from people. So.
Daniel Ricciardo.
So the honey badger.
The honey badger. So,
hunting, seeking, destroying.
Oh, man. If you follow TikTok, go follow Daniel Ricciardo. He does some of the funniest things. Riding scooters around. I mean, he just hopefully continues to keep those going.
What was the thing that he invented on the podium? What was the thing that he would occasionally do?
The shoey.
Okay.
The shoey. And you know what? I think for his send-off, would you do a shoey with me?
Oh, God. That's just... So you want me to drink a beer out of my shoe?
I'm going to...
This is a horrible idea.
For a send-off, now if he comes back, I'm going to be upset that I did this. But for a send-off, there's only one thing that's right. And you come on, do it with me.
Oh my God!
For Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh God!
Oh boy!
Wait
for it. Hold on.
Just disgusting.
Just a little bit. There we go. Let's pour that bad boy in there.
That is disgusting.
So, hold on a second. So I don't want. I'm getting a little teary-eyed here. So. Cheers, my brother. I need to pull a flap down to get mine in.
Oh, okay. God.
Well, I can't I was going to put that back on my foot. I realized that I can't do that.
Oh.
To you, Daniel.
That tastes like regret, mistakes.
I got to say now, I don't see how he did it. I think he did that after...
Oh, I forgot
56 laps of racing.
I put a foggy spray in my shoe like a week ago because they smelled so bad. Now I'm just eating chemical.
Oh man. Okay. So
that's good stuff.
Daniel is going to be, it hasn't been announced yet, but I would say by the end of the week, or at least in the next week before the next race, he will be getting replaced. My thought, Liam Lawson.
Can we just go to break and get to the next segment so I can go vomit real quick? Oh my God.
Liam Lawson, I think it's going to be, I think that's going to be a good choice. He raced about 6 races last year, did a tremendous job. But what we'll do is we're going to go to break so that he can go brush his teeth really quickly. I'm fine, but we'll be right back to talk about it next week. Welcome back to USF1. Where are we going next?
We are headed to America.
Oh, we're heading to good old Texas, I believe. We're heading to Texas.
I believe as Neil Diamond said it, we're coming to America.
Yes. Austin. It's going to be, it's COTA, nicknamed COTA.
Why is that?
Circuit of the Americas.
Okay, so it's not just the United States. We're going from Austin, but that's not, we got a month break. So that's in 4 weeks.
Fall break right now.
Then we go straight from there to Mexico City, then to Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yep.
And then where do we go after that? I can't remember where we go after Brazil.
That's going to be my favorite race. I think it's because it's going to be the one that we're going to.
Viva
We're going.
Las Vegas. We're going to be there.
Yes.
And
we're going live.
we are going to go live. We promise you that now. I don't know how many times. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know what state of mind we're going to be in, but we are going to go live.
We're going live. We're going to be at qualifying. We might go live twice. We might go live from qualifying. We might go live from the race. We might go live from some casino, maybe the room.
There's a chance we don't go live.
Yeah.
Or we're just
People just waiting in front of their phone like, these guys said they were going to go live.
That won't happen. Maybe
We will go
Raph.
live.
Raph might be the only one waiting.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you live in America too, it's, where we live, which I won't tell you, but it's at 10 o'clock.
We're in Eastern Standard Time here.
There you go.
It's 10 there, so it'll be 1 here.
Yeah. So 1 a.m. here where we live. So that's why I'm glad we're going, because last year it was quite hard to stay up all night to watch the race.
Enough about Vegas. Let's get back into Austin.
Oh yeah,
That's
my fault.
the race that's coming up.
So Austin is where we're going, and who's coming?
So I've been doing enough singing in this segment. I think we get right into the artists. I mean, I don't even know that you have to go to the race. You can just go to the practice and the qualifying to see Sting.
And Eminem.
Oh, he's your hero, isn't he?
Well, no, I love Sting. Sting growing up, Eminem growing up. Still listening to both now.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why F1 is getting huge, bringing in.
I mean, that's Super Bowl-esque artist right there. 5 years ago.
To me, that's better.
What?
To me, that's better.
Yeah, it is. They've done some collabs together too, I believe. I don't know for sure. I might just be making that up.
You could be. I'm gonna AI them together though. Just Sting, Eminem songs. Bring them to me ASAP.
You're just gonna mix it yourself. Love it. So the Circuit of Americas.
Yep.
We're in Austin. Now this track will be my first time seeing it again, of course. I did look ahead to the track design. The thing I like about it is huge straightaway.
Huge straightaway.
Should be the potential, only 2 DRS zones, those primary passing zones for the newbies, but a long one that ideally we see a little bit more lead changes action than we did see in Singapore.
There was a lot of turns as well, but yeah, you're gonna get your most of your action down those DRS, especially that long straightaway, like every track, unlike Singapore.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's gonna be a fantastic race. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I can see Sting and Eminem. Are they going to broadcast them on TV as well?
Sure. Let's get off that for a second. So last year,
I'm excited. Sting before qualifying, Eminem before the race. I mean, imagine 1 hour. I mean, that makes 2 hours. It'd be great. I'm sorry, I'm off.
So we are still a Formula One show.
Yes.
So last year,
Yep.
at Austin, who won the race?
Verstappen.
And that was probably easy to predict because he won, almost every single race last year.
Yeah.
But who was on the podium?
Well, this is where I believe Norris was on the podium. This is where I believe he started to make his run into excelling to where he is.
So ended the season starting here well. And
Yeah, I mean, he did great in Singapore too, but now on the podium, and they ended the season on a big step forward. So I mean, this is where he
now,
started.
if he finished on the podium last year, I mean, and he's been doing so well, I mean, obviously this is a great chance for him again.
Yeah.
Could win again. Should we get back into the talk of, does he have a chance to win the Champions race? Does he have a chance? We've talked about it. We've said he doesn't have a chance. We said he doesn't have a chance. I just feel like...
I believe that if he wins every single race
Okay.
and gets the fastest lap extra point,
Okay.
and Verstappen finishes just second place.
So
every single
Verstappen
race,
does great, finishes second every single race, but Norris wins and gets fastest lap.
they mathematically tie.
Going into the final race.
They're mathematically going into Abu Dhabi. So
would
you'd
be-
be,
oh my God.
imagine you're tied. Basically,
Going to the land of oil. A beautiful place. I have a buddy who lived there for a while. It's a beautiful place. But to go there, I mean, and the option is it doesn't just have to end that way. Norris doesn't have to win. Verstappen could get a 5th or 6th in there. We don't have to talk
Norris
about the
can
fastest lap.
get 9th and Verstappen get 10th. I mean, that's all you that's all you need. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun till the end. It's gonna be crazy.
But the Constructors' Cup, do you think...
Locked.
Mercedes
or McLaren's locked.
locked.
Locked. I'm thinking
They're up by like 30 points right now.
it's locked. It's locked. It's locked. I said it last week. I'll say it this week. And I'll mention it again next week. I think it's going to be McLaren. I know it's going to be McLaren.
Okay.
And I think the race right now that I'm looking to see is possibly Ferrari passing Red Bull for the second.
I would agree with you that a couple weeks ago, Leclerc was on a tear. I think that Leclerc and Sainz didn't quite perform as well as they should have, but Perez is doing, Checo's doing so terribly that he's not helping Verstappen at all. So Red Bull's just a one-man show, but...
No, and if Verstappen, he took a big step. I mean, this is his first podium, and I couldn't even tell you.
It's been like 3 weeks, 3 races, yeah.
So if he can continue to get on the podium, it's going to be harder for Ferrari, but if Ferrari, both of their drivers continuously finish above Checo, then it's just going to get that much closer.
We know that you just want Lando to win it all, McLaren to win it all. You can just pop champagne, keep drinking out of your shoe.
I don't want Lando to win it all, but I mean, I do. So, but we'll see. I mean,
please.
I want McLaren to win the constructor.
Okay.
I want McLaren to win the constructor. Who's your pick for constructor?
Oh, I think McLaren's got it. I mean, I hate to say that it's a done deal, but I think McLaren. I think it's too hard.
We need to get into our picks because we're running out of the time for the show.
Okay. Picks for next race in Austin?
Yeah. Is that hard?
I'm going to say Piastri.
You're going to say Piastri?
I'm going to ride Piastri like I did 2 races ago, and
okay.
I think he is going to do it for McLaren. I think Norris is going to end up on the podium, and I'm going to say Verstappen finishes 6th. I think he had. I don't know why. That's just my thought.
Okay.
And Hulkenberg, I only want to talk about him right now. I like my little guy here, but
I'm going to go under. I'm falling in love with Callum Pinto.
Okay.
So he's not going to win.
Okay.
I think he's going to break the top 7. Is going to be my underdog pick. I'm him top 7. Norris.
I need to write this down for our DraftKings.
Norris. Yeah.
Okay.
Norris on the podium. Verstappen out of the top 5.
Okay, so we agree on that. Okay.
Yeah, and where do you put? I'm Piastri possibly on the podium again.
So you're just gonna pick what I picked?
Yeah, but I picked Callum Pinto.
Oh wow. He picked a young guy to do something weird. Otherwise, he just wants to be me, which is fair.
And Kicksauber to get no points.
No points. Kicksauber
No points.
Stays at the donut.
I'm going to say that they're going to finish. If we look at the betting world, I wonder what the betting world for them to get 1 point would be.
I bet you
it's a huge payout.
They're like plus 100,000 to win, which is a pointless. That's just throwing your money away.
Yeah.
But it's probably to be on the podium is probably plus 50,000. Yeah, that's a good bet. Maybe
we should probably put 5 on that.
Oh, no. We don't bet.
Okay. All right. Well, join us next time on United States of Formula One.
Love ya.